They jump into this year. He says, Adolphson says it's important for them to dominate at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Their strength should be their size and strength up front. He said they're trying to find playmakers on both sides of the ball. He says they have several that are very capable, but not a lot of varsity level experience. So they're trying
Mhm.
to find guys to fill in some holes. They only return 198 total yards from scrimmage last season.
Ooh,
So yeah, so and they had some playmakers that we talked a lot about last year.
yeah.
So, they got some, I would say, opportunities, right, for players to step in and make a name for themselves in this program.
Yeah, I was such a huge fan of this team last year, watching guys like Silas Braun, CJ Johnson, Jerome Jackson. They were just a great team to watch week in and week out. So the positive here, Greg, you talked about a lot of guys who haven't played varsity, but the JV team went 8-1 last year. So these are kids who certainly have the ability to develop their winners at the level last year. So you know, what coach is saying here, I think Coach Adolphson is saying is that they're looking for the right guys that can carry you in those big situations, right? The way that those guys I mentioned have in the past. You go back even a year prior to Derek Chandler. This team has always kind of had those guys you can rely on. So this is a chance for this team to really find that identity, find those guys who are going to take them to the next level.
Yeah, coach talked about wanting to control the line of scrimmage. I would think it starts with Jackson Thomas, who coach described as the most physically talented lineman we've had in 5+ years. So he is very excited about the potential there. Andy Myers, I'm sorry, will step in at quarterback as a junior. He played on the defensive side of the ball as a sophomore. You have Peyton Thompson, who will be at running back. Tyler Finicum will be a fullback and a halfback. He was playing mainly fullback as a junior. You have Andrew Way, Leo Mahoney as a wide receiver, as a returning starter. A few other linemen: Gavin Bell, Lucas Eiler, Junior Avendano, and Brody Dodd as a tackle. So on the defensive side of the ball, Jackson Thomas, who we already referenced, Dame Thibault, raw but great potential. You also have Alonzo Pinedo on the defensive side of the ball. It'll be interesting to see, who the playmakers are, if they can find those playmakers, because it sounds like they'll have some line play and they'll have, some kids on defense, but can they find those playmakers on offense?
Yeah, and certainly a team of all the names that you mentioned, a lot of juniors in that list. So, and as we talked about, a team that had a really good JV year last year. So, stepping into their first year of varsity, how well and how quickly can they translate that success from last year now to the varsity roster for this Monmouth team?